Do you like looking at yourself in the mirror? How often?
To be honest, I don't really like looking at myself in the mirror, but I very often do because I'm concerned about my looks. Sometimes I can be a little bit vain. I want to make sure my hair is looking okay. I want to make sure there's nothing on my face. I just want to make sure I look okay. So I often look in the mirror, but I don't necessarily like to.
Have you ever bought mirrors?
Actually, no. I've never bought a mirror before because I've always lived in furnished homes. I've always rented furnished apartments, and they've always had mirrors. So I've never actually had to go out of my way to buy one in the bathroom or in the living room. There's always been mirrors that I can look at.
Have you ever bought mirrors?
Yeah, of course, especially small mirrors that I keep in my handbag because I want to make sure that my makeup, my mascara, my foundation looks okay on my face. There's nothing wrong. I want to make sure that my hair is straight and doesn't look like I just got out of bed.
Do you usually take a mirror with you?
No, as a guy, I don't take a mirror with me because I don't think it's necessary. First of all, everywhere you go, there are mirrors. You can always just take a trip to the bathroom to look at the mirror if you need to. Your phone can also be a mirror too, right? You can see yourself in your phone. And because I don't use makeup or anything, I think it's not necessary to always look at myself. So I've never taken a mirror with me. I've never had to. Oh, I always need to take a mirror with me, of course, especially if I'm going on a date with a kind of a good-looking guy. Before I meet him, I need to definitely have my mirror ready so I can make sure that my makeup is looking okay, maybe my eyeshadow, there's no smudges, and especially my lipstick. I need to make sure that my lipstick is looking okay. So I gotta check my mirror before I meet that hot guy.
Would you use mirrors to decorate your room?
Personally, I would not. I like decorating my room, but I decorate my room with paintings and some sculptures. I actually have a painting of a mountain and a deer. I really like deers. So I've never had the need to have a mirror. I think paintings and I think art, for me, is more important than looking at myself.
Do you often remember your dreams?
I wouldn't say often, but sometimes. It really depends on the dreams. There are some dreams that I've had in my life that have been so vivid that even after many years, I still can remember them really, really well. But most of the time when I dream, I'll forget it right away. I might wake up with a feeling like kind of scared, like I've just had a really terrifying dream, but I won't remember exactly what it was.
Do you share your dreams with others, or are you interested in others' dreams?
I am, actually, especially if I dream about somebody else. Recently, I had a dream where one of my high school friends and I were being chased by a bear back in Canada. This never happened. It was just in my dream. So I shared it with him because it was kind of interesting. And if other people have dreams where I'm involved, I think it's really cool to kind of hear their weird, bizarre dream stories.
Do you think dreams have special meanings?
I think to some extent they do, because there have been periods of my life where I've felt quite stressed, or I felt like at work or at school I have a lot of pressure, maybe an exam coming up, maybe I kind of fear failure. I'll find that I'll have some dreams where maybe I'm falling off a cliff or I'm being chased by some evil spirit. It happens usually when I'm kind of stressed in my life. But when I don't have much stress in my life, usually my dreams are not so horrific, pretty normal dreams.
Do you want to make your dreams come true?
It depends on what kind of dreams we're talking about. I've had dreams where everything has been great. I get married to an incredibly hot girl. Of course, I would like to make that true. But if we're talking about dreams in terms of what you want to do with your life, because there are two different types of dreams. Of course, I want to make my dreams come true. One day, I want to go with my parents to visit different parts of China. That's a dream that I have. I'd love to make that true. Having said that, I've had some horrible dreams. Maybe dreams where like a serial killer is after me. I would definitely not like that to come true.
Do you like drawing?
Yeah, I like drawing, but I'm not very good at it. Usually I'll just kind of doodle some drawings when I have some free time, but I won't spend too much time trying to draw like a really, really good picture because it will never turn out very good. I'm pretty terrible at drawing, so even though I like it, I don't do it very often.
Do you like to go to the gallery?
Actually, I really like art galleries because I think, for example, in my home, I have many paintings. So I'm kind of a big fan of art, even though I don't have this ability myself of creating beautiful art. But I really like it. So going to an art gallery, you can see a lot of different styles of paintings and sculptures. It's a really enjoyable experience.
Do you want to learn more about art?
Yeah, I'd like to learn more about the different styles of art throughout history. I particularly like the Renaissance art, Michelangelo and some of these really famous painters that painted in Rome and Italy at that time. I think that's a really interesting period, and the art from that time is especially beautiful. So I would like to learn more about that.
Did you learn drawing when you were a kid?
Yeah, in school, all students will take like art classes. So we'll learn to draw, we'll learn to paint. Some people have this natural ability, and from a young age, I had a friend who could draw extremely well from a young age, just a natural talent. So we learn to draw, but some of us are better than others. Some of us are much worse than.
Did you enjoy traveling by car when you were a kid?
Yeah, I did actually. I have very fond memories of going on road trips and camping trips with my parents. So we would travel by car all throughout Canada, and we went to many beautiful places. So I would say traveling by car with my parents was a very good memory for me, and I really enjoyed it.
What types of cars do you like?
I'm not really big into cars. I'm not a big car fan. I'm not a car buff. But I would say I like just cars that look nice. I like cars that don't leave too much of a carbon footprint on the environment. So big trucks and vans aren't so good. Little cars that can just use a little amount of oil, a little amount of gas, I think would be better for me.
Do you prefer to be a driver or a passenger?
Oh, I prefer to be a passenger because I'm not a good driver. All my friends always make fun of me. They're scared of driving with me. Because I get distracted by things too easily. If I'm a passenger, if I'm sitting shotgun, I can be in control of the music and I can just kind of watch everything that's going on. I don't have any responsibility for other people's lives.
What will you do if you find something lost by others?
Obviously, I'll try to return it to them. I mean, it depends on what it is. Some things are not so easy to return. But if it's someone's phone, usually you can find out whose phone it is and you can contact someone and then get it back to them. If it's someone's pet, often they'll have a chain that will say their name and a phone number to return it to them, so you can give them a call. But if it's something like, a necklace or, something that you have no idea whose it is, I wouldn't keep it for myself, but I might send it to a lost and found somewhere nearby.
Do you report to the police when finding something lost by others? Why?
Occasionally. Why? Because the police are very good at tracking people and finding people, and you don't really want to do it by yourself because it takes up a lot of time, right? So there have been times where I found somebody's wallet and I've gone to the police to try to get them to return the wallet to the person whose it is, because it's much more convenient for the police to do it, and that's kind of their job, right? Is to help people when they lose things.
Have you ever lost things?
Too many. I've probably lost 3 or 4 phones just from sitting them down on a table and then leaving, and then 5 minutes going back and they're already gone. And then if the person doesn't want to return your phone, there's no way you're getting it back. I would call it and realize that somebody had already turned it off, so there's no chance of getting it back ever. I've also lost a lot of accessories, sunglasses, necklaces, bracelets. Sometimes they just fall off and you don't notice. So yeah, of course, everybody loses a lot of stuff all the time. It's just part of human nature because we're very forgetful people.
Will you post on social media if you lose your item?
One time I did. I have a bunch of cats, and we always talk about cats, right? So I have 4 cats at home, and one time one of them escaped. I have a few friends who live nearby or even in the same apartment block that I do. So I made a post saying and putting pictures of my cat up and saying if you have seen my cat, if you know anyone who might have seen my cat, please get back to me. Leave my phone number and my information. And it's actually worked one time. I had a friend of a friend who found my cat and I got it returned. So I was very happy about it.
How do you plan your time in a day?
I'm not so good at planning my time in a day, but I realized that if I have a fixed schedule, I feel better. So one of my New Year's resolutions for this year is to have a better plan for my day. So right now, I made kind of like a list, and I made kind of like a schedule for what I want to do during the day. It includes my work, it includes exercise, it includes trying to eat at the proper times that I should eat, and then of course getting up and going to bed at appropriate times, and it's a good way to kind of keep your health, your mental health and your physical health in check. So it's good to have a plan.
OK, 我们来看下一个。Is it easy to manage time for you?
Not really. I'm not really a big time manager because I'm kind of a spontaneous person, but it's something I got to work on, managing my time better.
那我们来看第3个。When do you find it hard to allocate time?
Mainly in the mornings. I'm a morning person, but I'm also quite busy in the mornings. I wake up and I kind of plan, and then I usually go and exercise or go to a yoga class. So I feel very fulfilled and I feel happy in the mornings, but it's difficult to find any extra time to kind of do any more work or meet friends. So mornings for me are pretty jam-packed. I don't have a lot of time to do anything else.
What the fuck is allocate time anyway?
Allocate time is like to find time to do something else.
Do you often send emails?
Very rarely. Because these days we have a lot of apps where we can have groups with our coworkers. So we don't need to send emails, we can just send them messages, right? So emails are not so important anymore. The only emails that I send are sometimes to customer service. If I have some problem with an app or a problem with an appliance that I have, I might have to send them an email because I don't have any other way to contact them.
When would you send emails to others?
Like I said, I wouldn't send them very often because we just have other apps that we can use. It's not so important anymore. Emails were very common 10, 15 years ago. If I was working in an office and we had an email system, yeah, then I would send a lot of emails, especially because emails help with privacy, because sometimes if you're if you're using an app where everybody in the office is in a big group, it's hard to have private conversations with people. But other than that, just sending customer service questions, and maybe if I have a problem, I might email a company to try to help me out with the problem.
Is sending emails popular in China?
Not really. I find that there are too many other apps, for example, WeChat, that people use for work that have made emails practically obsolete. Very few people email. People generally like to talk on WeChat, and it just makes everything more convenient. People reply faster. You can at people so that they can get their message faster and they can see it. And people, if they're really in an emergency or they need an urgent reply, sending an email is the worst thing you can do. Just giving someone a call or a video chat or a voice chat is the best thing you can do.
Number 1, do you often use websites? I suppose so. You know, I'd like to say I go on websites quite a lot, although I spend just as much time on those mobile apps. Number 2, what kinds of websites do you usually use? Well, there are all sorts. Most of the time, I'm just looking for stuff on those search engines like Bing and stuff like that. Of course, every now and then I will listen to some songs on a couple of music websites too. Number 3, are there any changes about the websites you usually use? Well, not that I've noticed. But to be fair, some of those websites have just started to get a bit cheeky. Like, I would have to pay or become a member to be able to get access to some of the services that used to be free of charge. Number 4, do you have a favorite website? That's a hard question. You might not know this. I'm obsessed with several different ones. But this week I've been on Bilibili quite a lot. You know, it's a bit like YouTube.
Well, I think I got my first cell phone when I was in junior high school. But it's not a smartphone, it's only a flip phone, I guess. It can only text or call someone or play some flash games on it, I guess. It doesn't have a lot of function. I think I usually text. I think text messages are more concise and to the point. If you think it's not emotional enough, nowadays we have all the emojis and stickers to express your feelings. Yeah, for sure. My phone right now is running out of storage, and maybe I really need to buy a new one with 128 gigabytes. And I think the newest phone always have some advancements, even though I may not use those functions, but it's cool to have them. My life was completely changed by mobile phones. Well, I think everyone's life is, especially smartphones. Nowadays in China, I don't think a lot of people will carry wallet or even cash out there because we do everything with our phone. We pay, we order, we take a taxi, take a subway, everything.
Number 1, why do some people have a better memory than others? I've never thought about that. Probably it's because they've been using their brain a lot. You know, like the school kids, they will have to do a lot of reciting and that. Number 2, why do many people rely on mobile phones to memorize things? Well, I suppose it's just for the convenience. You know, they can just use the Notes app. As well as this, an alarm could be handy too. Number 3, are you good at memorizing things? Well, I'm not terrible at it. At least I'm able to remember birthdays. Unlike my best friend, she keeps forgetting her own. Number 4. Have you ever forgotten something that was important? Unfortunately, yes. In fact, I did that last week as well. Basically, they didn't let me get on the plane, and all because I forgot to do my COVID test. And it's all because I forgot to do my COVID test. Yeah, all right.
What do you usually do in the mornings? I wake up around 7 a.m., then normally just grab my phone as soon as I open my eyes. I feel like checking messages or news for 5 to 10 minutes is what actually wake me up. It's like turning on the computer, then I shower, have breakfast, and a cup of coffee, and get the new day started. Do you prefer to go to bed early or late? Well, I'm a night person, to be honest. I'm more productive at night. It's easier for me to stay focused on what I want to do. So it might not be good for me, but I always stay up late. I'm always grouchy if I have to get up early and not much fun to be around. Do you like to do the same thing every weekend? Yeah, I do. I'm a creature of habit. Usually I do some sports first thing Saturday morning and then hang out with my friends. As for Sundays, I take some extra classes in the morning, then go grocery shopping and do some chores in the afternoon, whilst trying not to think too much about the new week at school coming up. The daily routine going to change in the future? Well, I think so, because I'm going to graduate in a few months and head abroad once I get the offer. Moving somewhere new would definitely change my daily routine as a consequence. I can't wait to have a new lifestyle and a complete change of scenery. Hopefully meet some new people and see a bit more of the world. What are the best things to buy at street markets in your country? Well, I'm a huge fan of street markets, and there are lots of bits and pieces you can get there. For example, phone cases, stationery, and snacks. Of course, the quality isn't always super good, but compared with the price, you can get some really good bargains. When was the last time you went to a street market? Well, the last time I went to a street market was in the summer. I went out to a really famous local night market with my friends, to just hang out and get some snacks. Because of the pandemic, the government has shut them all down since then. Hopefully we will get the chance to go again soon. Do you like going to street markets when you are on holiday? Yes, definitely. Every time I travel somewhere, I always look for the local street markets because I think they are the places where you can get the real sense of the spirit of a city. You know, the people, the smells, the sounds. You can just really feel the vibe of the place and what it might be like to live there for the locals. Do you prefer shopping at a street market or shopping at a shopping center? Well, it depends. If I want to get something of better quality, I will get it at shopping center because the after-sale service is guaranteed, like electronic devices or proper clothes. However, if I just want to get something cheap, like just for fun or just to use for a short period of time, like a phone case or a hairband, I will probably just get it.
Yeah, sure. Although I'm not very sporty myself, I do like to watch sport games. And I don't have a lot of chances to actually go to the court or field to watch the game because of the time differences, the distance, or the expensive tickets. Yeah, of course. It's so much more exciting. You'll never know what's gonna happen the next minute. And it's always something unexpected or dramatic. It always keeps me on edge. I'd like to watch the game with my boyfriend. And we like to bet on different teams or players just to add a little fun to it. And I actually won 500 bucks from him during the last European Cup. I definitely want to watch a live football match after the COVID, with crowds of people cheering, screaming, shouting at the top of my lungs without having to wear the mask. It would be so cool.
Let's talk about sports. Do you like watching sport program on TV?
Yeah, I like to watch sports. My favorite sports to watch are basketball and UFC.
Do you like to watch live sports games?
Yeah, live sports games are a lot more exciting than recorded games because you don't know what's going to happen every second.
Who do you like to watch sports game with?
It's fun to watch sports games with my friends. And if it's a very special game like, World Cup finals or finals of basketball or football, it's really common to have a party or go to a bar and eat and drink and watch.
How often do you take photos? Well, I basically take photos every day actually. Not selfies though. Just quick snapshots of small things I find interesting around me. I'm a big fan of sharing those little things and moments with my friends. They can really break up a boring morning or afternoon and make them a bit more fun. Do you like taking photos of yourself? Occasionally, yes, but not always. I'm not narcissistic, but sometimes when I put on makeup or dressed up, which I rarely do, I take a selfie to see how I look and feel good about myself in the moment. It's also always a good idea to have a few good photos of yourself stored away on your phone. If you're in a rush and then you need a picture quickly, just use an old one you took a month ago. Do you have a favorite family photo? Well, I don't have a specific one because we don't take family photos that often. It's like gold dust to get one of us all together. I did take one recently, however, with me and my parents out for dinner. It was just a quick selfie. Not that clear and with bad composition, but it's a nice one and I like it a lot. Would you like to learn how to take better photos? Yes, I think taking photos is quite fun and it can be useful sometimes to take a closer look at your daily life and keep a record of it. Especially nowadays, with the pace of life getting so fast for everyone. Taking photos helps us to keep track of things we might otherwise forget. So if I had the chance, I'd love to learn how to record my life in a better way.
Did you usually go to the cinema when you were a kid? I wish I could have been able to do so. I was born and raised in the countryside, so I had never seen a movie until I moved to the city in middle school. But actually, we have a movie channel on TV, and I often caught a movie when I had some spare time to kill. Alright, let's take a look at the vocabularies and expressions. Born and raised, be born and bred. He's a Parisian, born and bred. Catch a movie, to watch a film. Let's eat now, and maybe we could catch a movie later. Alright, let's move on. Do you usually go to the cinema with your friends? Yeah, absolutely. I often go to the movies with my BFFs once we get some leisure time. It's quite the way for us to unwind and bond with each other. We'll visit the cinema whenever there's a new blockbuster from Hollywood. We really enjoyed the atmosphere of the cinema, you know. The special effect and the soundtrack is really magnificent. Alright, let's take a look at the vocabularies and expressions. BFF is kind of an abbreviation. It means best friend forever, a way of referring to a person's best friend. I fell in love with my BFF's brother. Unwind, to relax and allow your mind to be free from worry after a period of work. A glass of wine in the evening helps me to unwind after work. Blockbuster, a book or film that is very successful. Magnificent, very good, beautiful, or deserving to be admired. Alright, let's continue. Number 3. Do you still enjoy watching the movies that you loved when you were a child? Well, to be honest, my taste has changed a lot over years. I think the main reason is that mentally I'm mature enough, and the movies I watched when I was very little were a bit naive or simple. I prefer watching something profound or thought-provoking as I grow up. Okay, let's take a look at the vocabularies. Profound, showing a clear and deep understanding of serious matters. The review that I read said that it was a thoughtful and profound film. Thought-provoking, making you think a lot about a subject. A thought-provoking book or film. Alright, one last question. Do you prefer watching movies at home or at the cinema? It really depends. If I'm alone, I prefer catching a movie at home because there's always a lot of traffic and it's pretty time consuming to only watch a movie by myself. What's more, the ticket is a bit expensive. However, if I'm with friends, I enjoy watching a film in the cinema because I don't get bored and we can discuss the plot of the movie and do something else after the movie. Alright, let's take a look at the vocabularies and expressions. Time consuming. A time consuming task takes a lot of time to do. For example, producing a dictionary is a very time consuming job. Plot. The story of a book, film, play, etc. The movie has a very simple plot.